somehow
You're asking her to
mesmerized her.
turn into that woman, though, and then try and make contact with
No,
Marguerite's contacts. And
not
Oh no.
necessarily. Actually, almost lead us, be at our forefront, looking like Marguerite, and leading the Noct Richter agents, like she had been
Turned.
turned. Yes. Does it make sense? I never intend to actually leave Blanca
okay,
in a situation where it
Cornell
would become
steps back.
compromised.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
It's. I appreciate your care.
Robin takes note, doesn't say anything, just kind of like looks at Cornell like, hmm. No, I'm just saying that rather than being the usual position that we're in, which is hunted and prey, it would be nice to be able to turn the tables if there was a way to do it.
The thing is that even while I absolutely want to do that, Cornell is right in the fact that we're in this idyllic valley. We do not want to stain it with blood, especially with.
Marguerite was established. I mean, she was here and known as someone who worked at the hotel. So they
No,
have
Robin, I think you're onto something. While we're out on the slopes, let's not do that. But perhaps missing a shift and showing up late, Marguerite might make a more interesting contact for whoever she contacts. So if we return fruitless from this search,
okay.
I take your point, and maybe Marguerite needs to show up at the front desk apologetically.
That would be fantastic, and we would
Robin looks
be
for like, is it
just
okay?
around the corner in those situations. Absolutely.
Let's see if we can find the blue barn, and we'll strategize our return according to Robin's suggestion. I like the idea, but yeah, I'd like to be on offense, not defense.
I know. I know.
So you all outfit for alpine hiking with the little extras that you wanted. Um, if you come to a point where you're looking for an extra and you didn't write it down, we'll talk about whether it's reasonable that you would have gotten it along with you. 500 silver at the inflated resort rates should do the trick to get you what you want. Firearms extra if you want those. But your
I want to make sure while we're up in the mountains, once we leave the lift area, make sure you have rifles. I don't want to scare tourists, but
Oh,
we need long range.
who puts people put skis on those little hooks. I put
Yeah.
my bighorn in its casing. But I still also need a map, a generalized map of the area. Maybe it's a topographical as
they're able
rustic.
to provide you with one. You've got the map that I sent you,
Yes.
So that shows you the towns. It shows you the 3 ski resorts. It looks like Cervinia is the resort that is serviced from here. It looks like Matterhorn Base Camp is above Chalet Bull for the climbers. And there are notes that both Rothors and Theodule Glacier have separate lifts to get up to those areas. And it looks like the snow line stops before it reaches the farming valley above the alpine line. So you've got a section that looks like meadow, extensive meadow between the snow line and the trees. The proprietor, as he's ringing up your goods, says, "You're not climbing, yeah? You're not off to the Horn, yeah?"
Not up the Horn, no.
No, we're not.
This is good.
We're just sightseeing.
Yeah,
Well,
this is
if we could stay on foot with this
gear for the
gear,
Horn.
get us to Sardinia.
Say again?
I said if we were just staying on foot, then this would get us to Sardinia. Yes.
You may take the tram to Cervinia. You can, for For the same price, you can take a bus if you don't like the high places. And you can also rent electric vehicles if you need to.
A quick question, sir.
Yeah.
Where would you say is the best overlook of the valley? We want a good view of everything as
The
far as we can
summit
see.
of the Matterhorn.
Okay.
I make a joke. I make a
Yeah,
joke for you. Yeah.
less dying on our part. So,
Yeah. The the peak at Cervinia is exceptional. Um, but I think that the best view of the Matterhorn is from the peak at Rothors. That is just my opinion, but all you need to do is walk out into the square and look up, and you have a magnificent view of the mountain. But if you wish to see the valley,
yeah, I
at
want to
the
look
peak
back
of
down.
any one of the three resorts will give you a magnificent view. And if you are on the lift, you get a good view as well.
Excellent. And we can wander around the tram. It's not like you belt in and you can walk and look out. Right?
Yeah, you just listen to the tram attendant. No nonsense, no silliness, but you are adults. There's no
Well,
need to caution you about that.
I glance around at my compatriots with a little bit of concern. How much silliness is okay?
Well, there's no jumping up and down as a group and,
Oh,
swinging it from
yeah.
side to side.
I
But
point at Robin.
I pointed Blanca.
and the Canton police have never once charged a tram driver for giving a thrashing to the people that do that on the tram.
Mm. I might actually join in.
Yeah, but you're in for a beautiful day. We have no record of any significant weather coming in.
What does the weather looks clear.
Yes, we are told that it will be a clear night with plenty of stars. Last night we had a bit of snow. You could not see anything, but uh, you can stay at the tops of the resorts up until 11:30. The last tram is at 11:30 coming down. There is nothing like being on the outdoor um, patios and watching the stars come out. You feel as if you're close enough to touch them, and tonight will be a perfect night for that. But that will also mean it will be extremely cold. Wear your sweaters, wear your coats. You see that Bjorn has selected an enormous yellow parka. It's big with a fur-lined hood.
Oh, he's like the sun right there. Just
Yeah, it fits my personality. If I get lost in the blizzard, I want you to be able to find me.
yeah, that's why I wear red, like bright, brilliant
Bright red?
crimson, because I tend to wear it a lot.
You do it because the same reason the bullfighters do, to masquerade with your many wounds.
Look
Well-
down to see what color Banny's pants are.
They're blue.
Do you think yellow is unwise? Do you think I've become more of a target?
No,
than just
you're
yellow coat?
like among all the other targets out. I mean, what do you mean target?
Pepsi.
I don't know what you're talking about. I look over at the
Yeah.
proprietor. Oh,
He's not reacting
Not
to
even.
anything. He deals
Whispers,
with foreign
yeah, I think
tourists
we're
all year
talking
round.
about igloo, a yellow
Yeah.
igloo.
The
Well,
proprietor does ask if you are planning to overnight outdoors.
what would you provide if we did?
Then you will need the tents and sleeping bags and a stove. Um, you will need provisions.
Okay. We don't intend to. I just wondered if anybody has
Nobody ever
gotten.
does.
That's
Make
that's the
another
thing.
joke.
Well, we are tourists. We're gonna stay to trails.
Right.
People get
But,
lost up here often.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. There is a valley on the Matterhorn that everyone calls the Rainbow Valley. Um, not for a good reason, but it is because of the multicolored coats and boots of mountaineers who have plunged to their death in this valley and now litter the rocks and the glacier at the bottom.
Scenic.
That's yeah.
Some
We're
have
just gonna.
been there since the early 1900s or earlier. But the climate up there is so cold and so dry that decomposition
Doesn't happen.
slowed. But they're in such precarious positions that nobody dares to rescue the bodies for burial, so there they stay. I can provide you a map of the Rainbow Valley, of the identifications of the assorted corpses, if that matters to you.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Unless somebody else wants to do a path of the morbid.
But if you're not going up the Matterhorn, then it
No.
really won't matter to you.
Yeah.
Some people have a strange attraction to the morbid.
I glance at the different faces in the group just to see.
Mitzi, Rouse! Rouse!
Hey, it's the proprietor.
Stupid schnauzer, I turn you into schnitzel.
Danny, how heavy is the equipment we might need should we get caught in the open and have to spend the night?
Everybody will have to carry. Or we just put it on Bjorn.
They don't have a giant. Yes, there's not like a tent for 4. 5. Was it fun?
It can be done. But then not only tent for 4, sleeping bags for 5 or 4, and 5 if we run into anybody else that a Yeti.
Yes, the Yeti.
Hey, speaking of Yetis, have you seen a Yeti, Mr. Proprietor?
Do we believe that Yetis are real?
Do they? Do you? Because you have a film crew in town looking for Yeti, and I'm just...
I can give you a guidebook that can explain the history of Yetis, and specifically the history of Yetis here in the Matterhorn Valley, complete with photographs of alleged Yeti prints and sightings, and it includes a map to show you where the best places are to look for the Yetis. They're very elusive, I am told, so perhaps your quest may not pan out, but I can sell you this guidebook.
I will buy the book, regardless of whether or not you believe it. But tell me, do you believe it? Have you?
I believe that there are many people who wish to see a Yeti, and they come and they stay here looking for one.
Well, exactly. I myself am a man of science.
If you talk to the farmers in the upper alpine reaches, they will tell you stories of the Yetis coming down and trying to get at their livestock. And there have even allegedly been a few killings by the supposed Yetis.
Interesting. Well, I'll buy that guidebook. I will also, and so you gave me a map of the topographical area, so that's currently in play. I think we're gonna hold off on any camping gear or any climbing gear. If we're feeling so inclined over the next day, maybe we'll do something. But I doubt we want to be a member of the Rainbow Valley ourselves.
Yeah, unless you are an experienced climber, you still need to get the permit from the city hall and establish your credentials as an experienced climber before you are ever allowed to climb the mountain. Now, that is not to say that there are not people who climb the mountain without the proper papers. But there are heavy fines if you are caught doing this, and you pay a higher price with your life if you truly are not qualified for it.
Thus the Rainbow Valley.
Yeah. Do you need the cameras, film, anything to make your wandering more enjoyable?
I think we have a camera.
I think we do.
Blanca.
So tell me, do you have a camera that can take pictures at really long distances?
Yeah, yeah.
I think we,
It is Alemani, of course.
yes,
It is not inexpensive.
yeah, a fine precision instrument. I'm sure that it can go long distances. You know, for the sake of adding to the lore of this valley, let's buy that camera.
I have the Ziegler 500 with. Do you want black and white film? I make a joke.
Do you have anything that just doesn't work at all? So when I take a picture, it's blurry automatically, and I can submit it for photos of the Yeti, right?
You made the joke. You made the joke. Good. That is good. I can sell you a broken camera if you wish.
No, I'll take one that actually has really nice
Do you want
optics.
the Ziegler 500?
Yeah, can I take a
How
look
much
at
is
it?
it?
The Ziegler 500.
How much? How much?
Oh, how much is it? It's 1,200 lira. And the film is only 10 lira per roll.
Only. That's fantastic, actually. Let me take a look at it. I'm gonna check the quality of this camera.
It's as good as a high quality camera would be in 1935.
Right?
Right,
It's better than the. It's better than the little pop-up that
Oh
Blanca
yeah,
has. Okay.
this is a professional grade. Do you want the tripod?
Tripod,
with it?
please. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. how
So is
how
it
much does that fold down? Because I don't want to
well,
be too.
it will be no more than 5 feet in length by the time you collapse it. It's made of wood. It has the wing nut clamps.
Not even metal. Jeez.
Well,
That's
no,
right.
wood is fine. Wood is fine. It's flexible in
And
the
it's not
sense.
particularly light, but he sells it to you anyway for the low price of 200 lira.
I am
Oh.
going to drop 1,400 lira on a professional camera rig.
Glad you're rich. I mean,
We'll just put it into the, the
Blanca
equipment.
account.
Yeah.
Blanca account.
The Blanca account. No, it's just the equipment reg. So we'll call it good.
Bjorn tells you that he had to bribe the clerk with 20 lira. He's putting it on his expense report.
Oh, excellent. We are good to go then. I can carry that.
So who is carrying actually rifle? I mean, like Blanca wants everyone to carry a rifle.
She's got a
Did you-
Wasa.
Oh, she brought a Wasa.
Yeah, she had a
Cornell
Wasa.
does not have a rifle on him.
The
Robin did.
proprietor says we have an entire wall of rifles.
Well, let's Bjorn, why don't you walk back there with me and help me pick one out?
He walks back there with you. It's quite a nice selection, and the same proprietor works his way behind that counter, and he says there are many choices in Zermatt for weaponry, but he will beat his competitors' prices, and of course none have the same craftsmanship of what you can purchase here.
Of course.
You guys are around weaponry often enough to see that what jacks up the price tag on this stuff is the finish, the detailed wood carving along the stock. Otherwise, these look like standard hunting rifles. Most of the hunting rifles are the equivalent of a Wasa. He points out that many of them are custom made by some craftsmen here in Zermatt, some craftsmen over in Lupania, some deeper into Burgundia, a few from Alemannia, but they're the finest that you can purchase, and they are scoped.
Cornell points at one that is particularly has a lot of engraving or inlay, and says, "Oh, may I take a look at that?"
He takes it down for you, tells you that you have excellent choice in firearms, hands it over to you. You've handled rifles your entire adult life, and the action on the bolt is nice and smooth. Um, it feels nice in your hand. It's a beautiful weapon, but you don't know that it's going to be any more accurate than a Wasa. The scope looks like it's very finely crafted, and at this point in time, scopes are made by jewelers. So a scoped weapon is usually a rarity and always expensive.
As I'm looking it over, I do want to just kind of catch Bjorn's glance to see if he's approving or disapproving. See if I made a wise choice or if I was blinded by fancy.
It's very fancy. It's very beautiful. As long as it will put down what you hit with it, then the rest is just for showing off or feeling better about some inadequacy you carry within you.
No.
Can you also compensate with that for that inadequacy by quantity rather than quality?
I'm sorry, but I don't. If I understood compensating for inadequacy, then I could probably answer that question. But when you carry a gigantolope around with you, you face a whole different set of problems.
Oh,
The
I
inadequacy
wish I knew. I wish I knew.
Waitresses that will not leave you alone. It's a living hell.
Let me know when you want to trade lives, Bjorn.
But that is why are you eager to meet Odin? That is a beautiful weapon. I'm sure.
Well, which one would you pick?
Bjorn looks and finds the simplest one that he can. It has open sights, iron sights, no scope on it. He says, "I am a simple man. That is what I would use. There is no scope to break if you drop it. No beautiful carving or varnish to gouge if you bang it against the rock. It is a tool like everything else. Tools don't have to be pretty to work. But if you have the means, by all means, get the pretty one. You will probably fit in better, but perhaps not. If you want to look like a tourist, buy that rifle.
The pretty one or the ugly one?
The pretty one. If you want to look like a local, buy the ugly one and then completely change your clothes. I am trying to look like a giant lemon, apparently, but I will be warm.
A warm
the coat
lemon.
looks comfortable. Coat looks comfortable. I'll give you that, even if it's a sore thumb. I select a little rifle similar to one that he pointed at, but one that does have a scope. But it's more standard looking rifle.
So you have the equivalent of a Wasa with a 3x scope. There's no shortage on how much ammunition the guy can sell you.
I just take 2 boxes.
Okay. Anybody else purchasing any weaponry?
Robin does not. She doesn't have a rifle. I think she's probably the only one who doesn't have a rifle then.
Bjorn buys the ugly Wasa. Makes a face when he sees that there's not even a clip for a bayonet at the end of it. Buys a couple boxes of cartridges. The man says, "Will you be taking your rifles on the tram?"
Yes.
Would you like the cases for them?
Yes, please.
He sells you each a leather case to put your rifle in. He doesn't seem like it's unusual for you to be traveling in the upper country or on a tram with firearms.
I already have all of that from before, but Yeah, I'm good.
He wishes you a fine journey. Watch out for Yetis.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Pack a
right.
leather case.
Well, we have the camera for it. That's the case.
We're gonna shoot it one way or the other, right, Bjorn?
Yeah, that now you made the joke. That's good. The proprietor tells you that his cousin runs a photo studio here in town and can develop any film that you bring back.
That's what we're looking for.
Did we bring Spectral Lethal?
I don't know. We didn't have it at our previous one, did we? Or did you?
No.
The thing
You know,
is,
I was actually gonna talk to Isaac about that, but I assumed you carried it.
I love that word.
Assumed? Yeah.
Spectrolethal.
No, I actually really thought about that when I had that time to go talk to him before the airship. Oh well.
I thought you had the pink berries. No, didn't you bring them?
Did you get the film you already took developed, Blanca? I don't know if you want to entrust that to a contact.
Oh, fair point. We didn't really have much of a layover at headquarters.
0 layover.
Ask him where his, he said cousin?
Yeah, he is. If you go across the square, down the street to the right, it is just parallel to Main Street. His shop is down past the first bridge on the right side.
She leans into Blanca. It's like, fuck Yetis. Like, there was a Jack in Chains who was slain.
Yeah, find my way to the shop and wind the film out, hand it to him.
So you go down to the Photoshop. It's very quiet in here. It looks like it's by now it's about 9 a.m. It looks like the morning rush to get off to the climbing or the skiing or what have you has already gone by. So he's only too happy to help you. What kind of film is this that you're giving him?
Just standard film.
Okay.
It's the shots we took in Magnetia.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Bjorn has his foot up on, like, Jack in Chains.
Oh my god.
He and you didn't have the Spectrolethal film, which would have actually captured the non-existent Jabberwock scenario. He tells you that it can be ready in 48 hours.
Ask him if he has any. Pull out the camera I have. Do you have any long lenses?
Oh, of course, it's a film studio. Of course.
I pull up the big camera, the box camera that I picked up from the other, and it should have a telephoto lens on it because I don't know if this can come off, but it may work. But I bought this specifically so we could take pictures at long distances.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't notice you picked up the camera.
And the proprietor points at your pop-up camera and says, "I can't change the lens on that."
Okay.
Yours, I could give you a standard lens if you don't want the just telephoto.
Actually, standard lens would be good, just so we can, how big of that or what does that lens look like?
It's a standard 35 millimeter lens. I'm happy to overcharge you for it.
Oh, well, make that double.
So kind, so kind.
Did he just slip on his deception?
I think he just said, "You're not buying this from anywhere else."
He sells you your standard 35 millimeter lens, and Bjorn scratches his head and thinks that every mission you guys go on, you spend 5 times more than your actual salary.
I walk over. I point at the ruby that's sitting somewhere in either his pockets or whatever else, and think, "This is all paid for, baby. This is the vacation we didn't get before."
Who's carrying that big fat ruby?
It's sitting
It was
back at the
Banny.
hotel room.
Bjorn is or Banny is?
No, it's
Banny
sitting
was.
back at the hotel room. It is in my satchel, but it's in my luggage. It still exists.
Dude, I worked for Marriott for a year. You left something in your room for the maids?
Hey, we said do not disturb.
Anytime we had a customer complain about a theft, my supervisor said, it's the maids. It's always the maids.
Well,
This is kind
maybe
of
we
hard
should
to
have
live with.
maybe we should have left the body sitting inside of there and said and put a sign on it that said this maid tried to steal from us. Or
I like the note that said, sorry, I got to take a bio break. I'll be back.
This maid tried to steal from us.
tried to.
Oh, see, I just assumed you were expensing the camera, Bonnie, right? This is a mission expense.
It is a mission expense. But guess what? The ruby just goes into the mission fund and it just, flushes it's
Sure,
for the treasury.
I don't think you have to turn that in if it's not magic, right?
Right?
It
I
came
think you
from
just funded Richter though for like 3 months at least.
it came from under the hill in the first world. I think that somebody wants to study it, and honestly, it nets a chunk of change. So we're just whenever
Are you gonna
Benny
have
finds something
carry-
in the field, he brings it back and
Are you
drops
gonna
it.
have
On.
Bjorn carry this camera, or are you carrying this with the stand?
Oh, I'm probably gonna carry it. I'm probably gonna just carry it.
Fanny's like a cat bringing dead birds back to the front porch.
You wanted this, right? You wanted it.
Thanks.
I really wanted this.
Don't you?
If we do have like a bulk issue, Cornell's got 18 strength as well. So
Oh, son of a bitch, that's right. He's got a small rucksack, but he's got 18 strength. That is not to imply anything. The rucksack, I don't know what you hold in it.
it's an appropriately sized rucksack. Thank you. It's at least average.
At least average.
Robin has checked with Blanca. This is apparently the case.
I don't think
his baggage was always very moderately sized. In their 2-week journey around Europa.
Perfectly average.
There was no issues there, no complaints.
you never need too much. If you have too much, it's
You don't need to terrorize your partner.
Right.
That's right.
What are you gonna do with all that?
What am I gonna do with all that? That's
No,
really what
I'm
it is.
just saying. I'm just saying.
You whip that out. What am I gonna do with all that? How am I going to deal with that?
Why do you think Robin has had no interest in the Gigantalope? That's just gonna hurt. All that bulk.
Yeah. Usually I'm an inch deep, mile wide, but sometimes I'm 7 inches deep, mile wide.
How long are your fingers?
Here. How about I show you my feet?
No, show your hand.
What's that?
Yeah. What are you drinking?
This is my just in case I get hungry.
Huel?
Is it a protein drink?
It's meal replacement, but not really a meal replacement. It's like Soylent, but not Soylent Green.
It's like Soylent Green?
Have you had that?
Yes, I used to be somewhat religious about that because
Really?
I am not somebody who likes to make food. So
I feel you that. I did it for like a week or two, and then I was like, I don't want to deal with ordering this.
It costs a lot, and honestly, I could just have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and call it good.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
fine.
Well, at least you're not drinking Ensure.
This is practically Ensure. It's practically Ensure. And it's funny you say that because my mom in this whole situation she's in, like I said, she just is getting over the COVIDs, but she has a closet with like 8 crates of Ensure sitting inside of there. So Yeah, all day long. It's like, this is what I do. This
You're
is what
muted, John.
Since he's ready for the apocalypse.
She totally
Yeah.
is. Totally is ready for the apocalypse. I'd like
No.
it. I'd like, a little less Ensure, and I don't know.
My
This-
mom passed away a decade ago, and same thing. She had lots and lots of Ensure.
As long as it doesn't expire too quickly.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, I don't know how long it lasts, but I think it's got a good shelf life.
It's got a fantastic shelf life. And yeah, all you have to do when you need to survive an apocalypse, speaking of zombies, is go to one of those trailer parks where it's a 60 plus community, and you look in people's closets and you find that stash of all the insurers.
It disturbs me how much you know about geriatrics closets. But
Well, my mom's
We'll move past
geriatric,
that.
so this is
Yeah.
this is her and her hoarding sensibility. It's like, I'm gonna live forever on this.
nice.
My mom validates or verifies that as well.
Yeah, there it is.
I have been known to chug and insure from time to time.
I don't think I've ever actually had one. Now that
There-
I'm thinking about it.
That's because you were what, 33?
Oh, on the dot. On the dot.
Yeah. You don't need to drink insure for a while, dude.
And Ensure comes with in a gift box with a Depend box.
And a pair of cheater glasses.
Oh, and some of those lubricated catheters. Yeah. Here, let's see if I can. Oh,
Nose and ear hair trimmer.
Nice.
I'm already
Where-
there.
I thought hair was valuable no matter where it grew.
Sure.
It's a
Just keep
commodity.
telling yourself that.
I've collected enough that I'm gonna make myself a pubic wig. That's all I have to say. It's
Okay.
Transfer.
All the
Merkin.
stuff you get to look forward to, Mike.
It has to be pubic hair. You cannot replace hair on your head for what your pubic wig. You need to have the real thing.
Mike, the problem is when you start to experience it at last, you won't be able to tell any of us because we'll all be gone.
All right.
Find your younger friend group to complain to.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Back
Gotcha.
in my day.
Damn it,
Alrighty.
Ryan, older brother than you, right? Or
Yeah,
you-
Ryan's 3 years older than me.
See?
Yeah, damn it. So you can't complain to him.
All right. The group is equipped, armed. It's 50 degrees out, so some of you are carrying your coats at this point, but you've all got your rucksacks and your snappy little alpine hats.
Adorable.
Yep. You managed to snap a few photos of everybody that looks like they're on vacation.
Was there any what's that hat that's like
The bacalavas.
yes.
Yeah, of course.
That's what Robin wants.
Bjorn was looking for the Eddie hat with the flaps that went up on the side. Shitter's full, but couldn't find one.
Pause for
Wrong
a moment.
country.
Make sure we get a group shot. I think this is an opportune moment to get a group shot of the whole team.
A passerby is only too happy to take a picture of all five of you
I-
standing in front of the tram.
I set up the camera. Before they touch it, I set up the camera. I line it all up.
Oh,
And
it's
then
a
I say,
tripod.
You push the button, and I'll give them a 5 spot after we.
Oh, there's a happy couple that's already drinking at 10 a.m. and they don't want your money, but they're happy to take a picture of you.
Warms my heart. I love alcoholics. I mean, wait, what?
But Bjorn's head is off.
Bjorn looks like a school bus and almost the same size.
And he rattles when he moves. So yeah, absolutely, it's a school bus.
When the tram arrives, there are still plenty of skiers, and they're not so much backpacker folks. They don't have backpacks, but they're they're tram folk. They want to go up to the lodge up at the top.
Tram folk.
The attendants tell you that if you have any long guns, you can certainly store them on the outer racks with the other skis.
I
It doesn't
ask
look unusual.
if there is a license I need to hunt game.
A license? Do you hunt?
Sometimes I do. That's why we have these. Just in case, you know.
Hunting is a way of life up here.
Excellent. So we don't need a license. We just have to figure out how to get it down the mountain.
Yeah. The only license you need is if you wish to climb the Matterhorn.
Not doing that. I look around and see if anybody in the group really wants to climb the Matterhorn.
None
So
of them are in mountaineering gear.
Well, I'm just gonna talk them out of it if they do. That's it.
Good luck with that. Please stand clear of the closing doors. We will be underway. The doors roll closed. You've got about another 10 people in here with you, so you're full capacity. About 2/3 of them look like they're skiers. The rest are just sightseers. And the tram starts swinging its way up the mountain. You are amazed at the views as Zermatt recedes behind you. You've all traveled to different parts of the world, but none of you can remember seeing anything as spectacular as this. The sky is a color blue you've never seen before. You get a spectacular view of the Matterhorn, and the higher you go, the more of the valley you see. You cross over Chalet Bull, which is, it looks like it's a small farming community, maybe with a little bit extra for tourism there. And there is a second tram that leads from that village up in the same direction you're going. So you've got trams from Cervinia that go to Zermatt and go the halfway point down to Chalet Bull. As you climb, the meadows of the glacial area before you get to the snow line stretch far out to the east. You can see out towards the west, although one face of the Matterhorn starts to kind of obscure. If there's another resort that way, which your map shows that there is, you can't see it from the tram. You see the little village of...
Alexa announced that was delicious. Thank you.
You see the village of Gornergrot. That looks farming, and everything you look at is picturesque. You've got a lot of little farms everywhere. You've got little puffballs of white sheep grazing in every direction. Yeah.
Is every barn blue?
You are looking for blue barns. It's kind of hard to tell individual colors from up here, but if you start employing your binoculars and your spy glasses, you should be able to get a look at it. The telephoto lens on your camera, Banny, is the equivalent of a pair of binoculars.
Okay. I may, if the light is bright enough, and it sounds like it's pretty bright, I may take a few shots from the tram overlooking the area.
This area, and I've never been there, but I know Keith has been there. I think any photograph you take of that area, you can't help but look like a professional photographer because it's scenery like nowhere else on the planet.
Not a surprise.
Bjorn takes a shot also, but it's out of his flask. I'll be right back.
Okay. Hey, somebody check the stream to see if I got that right.
Oh, good idea.
If you got what right?
Like where you put the map?
I have mapped.
Sweet. Well done. Oh, I love how you have John over there decided the GM and Bjorn. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna move him so I can
A little higher.
just so it is. So
Can you zoom in on like the Zermatt region, or
I can pull that out just a little bit more. It's
there you
just
go.
a big one,
It is big in the Rhone
and
depth.
it blocks. Keith, I might want you to have Burgundia as the text as a separate animal,
Mm,
if you get me.
A separate animal.
I see what you're after.
Rar, separate animal. So you can have that floating above the map itself.
Ah.
You'll see what I
Can
mean.
you crash a small airship right northeast of Zermatt? And crash land.
Crash landed, a little bit of scuff, and then
Yeah.
a ship. But we haven't seen him. He's staying up in this area. He's here until we're leaving, correct?
That was my understanding.
We just said the same things, Jinx.
I owe you a soda.
Yeah. Except only. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, something a little more substantial than a soda.
Was that the American Prairie?
Yeah.
That one's a good one.
I was
Yeah,
trying
that's
it
a good
last
one.
night, actually.
That's a great high west.
It's delicious. They should
I think
really
the only one I haven't liked is their like double campfire or whatever. It's just too much smoke.
Too super peaty.
Yeah.
Super peaty.
What are you consuming, Mike?
Yeah.
I finished off the last third of that El Mayor.
El Mayor. I'm not familiar. Yeah, show me.
Focus.
Oh yeah, it's got the blurries.
Nice. Okay. Oh, the tequila. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I had a little bit of it like over the weekend. So I finished just that like last little inch or two. I do have some whiskey I could go open up upstairs, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the night goes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
We'll see
Really
where the night
someone
takes
clear-headed.
us.
I definitely overconsumed last time.
Oh, I was lit. I was lit like a Christmas
Dude, you and
tree.
me both. You and me both. I watched bits of the stream and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an ass.
Oh,
You guys are up
Yeah.
late too. You guys, I watched it. Like you guys were up late.
Yeah,
Damn.
shoot, we were just bullshitting until like what, 2:30, Eric?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
2:30.
really late. And I can't stand myself when I'm drunk because I'm so slurry and so messy.
Oh, dude, me too. And like I sometimes I get that like slight stutter. Yeah. Oh my gosh, total chump asshole when I get drunk too. Ugh. It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
And lovely of us to capture it for
Yeah,
posterity.
Yeah,
thank
for
you.
posterity.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Put
I
that
really
in.
appreciate that.
Put that in the archives
Future
indefinitely.
grandchildren can appreciate it, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blanca, roll a d4 for me, please.
Uh-oh.
4. A 3.
Okay. And Banny, roll a d6 for me.
3.
Okay. On your way up toward the ski resort, Robin, you see at least 3 blue barns on the road from Chalet Bull up to Cervinia. And from your current vantage point, you can see, Banny, another 3 blue barns clustered around the community of Gornagrat. You can't see much beyond that to the east, but you have an idea that when you get up to the ski resort, you might be able to see beyond that. There's certainly no problem with clear weather. It's just about terrain.
I am, every time that anybody points one out, I will take and note it on the map.
Okay. The rest of the passengers are all very, very excited for the skiing. Probably half of them seem like they've been here before. The other half, it's their first time. And the sightseers, it's all their first time. They can't wait to have lunch and cocktails out on the terraces around the chalet up at Cervinia.
Me too.
Banny's going to be full tourist here.
Oh, I've played this game before.
That's because he didn't get a vacation before in Magnetia.
He's got the feathered hat and the camera. All he needs is a Hawaiian shirt, and he's in.
Well, I probably still have that calfskin tan leather, suit coat that I was wearing a while ago somewhere. Now the thing
What
is
part of
that
Greenwich Village is he from? Just asking for a friend.
well, eventually Banny is going to have to live up to this promise that's been floated out there that Banny Elkin is going to write a new travel book. He's going to write one.
Right. You've never written one about the Matterhorn or Zermatt.
Never has. And this is prime space.
You could title it Under the Floorboards.
Anybody who tears this place down, don't look too hard.
And stay away from the help.
The trip from Zermatt to the Cervinia Resort is about an hour.
Dang, that's a long tram ride. That's awesome.
It is, and it's fairly steep. As you approach the docking station and the station at the top, you can see that there are several large chalets perched on the side of the mountain. Above it, it looks like it gets really severe with rock and snow. But during your entire ride, you've seen just spectacular ski runs, all kinds of different colored jackets as people ski down the many different slopes. You see some colored flags. This is definitely the life for wealthy, outdoorsy folk. You clank into a locked-in position. The doors open. The attendants start taking off the skis for people. They hand you your rifles, and you get directed toward the main chalet, Chalet Cervinia. They tell you that they do have a small ski shop there. If necessary, they do have a small gift shop there. And of course, they have the restaurant and the lounge and the best terrace of anywhere in this valley.
Be in towards Blanca, especially, but of course also sounds like what Danny was doing was also doing the same thing, counting and looking to see where the barns are. So you kind of have the map. So I mean, like, Robin will work together with Danny to kind of like sort of like indicate maybe somewhere around here.
Let's do the sober lunch.
As you leave the tram station, you see a large thermometer that says that it is 27 degrees out. There's a little wind monitor that shows you which direction the wind is blowing and at what speed. A couple of pennants. Everything here has a festival atmosphere, and you have a high altitude Oktoberfest air to the whole place.
High altitude drinking.
Yeah, all beer is strong beer.
Yeah, quite a bit of high altitude drinking going on. You can dine or drink in the chalet, or it has an expansive deck/terrace that sticks out over the mountain, which gives you spectacular views of the ski resorts, the valley, the tram itself. And there's a lot of people here, and they're laughing, they're enjoying themselves, and the beer is flowing freely. Everyone seems to be having a good time. Danny, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I would like to look for places that I can do overlooks, of the valley and the surrounding areas.
Do a perception, please.
18 plus 15. Ridiculous. 33.
That is a ridiculous roll. So if you look at your map, You can see the road that goes east from Gornegrat. It forks, and part of the road goes to Theodule Glacier, which
Mm-hmm.
is a ski area, and the other one looks like it winds up into the mountains towards a um, small structure
That's
up in the saddle.
that's the pass that they were talking about, right?
It
As
is. That's the pass to Lupania. What you see is that once the road splits off from the other ski resort, about halfway up the mountain, um, you see that that entire road only has one blue barn on it. And probably about a mile above it toward the mountains, up into the snow, um, you see that there is a vehicle pulled off to the side of the road. And this stuff is just teeny tiny at this range,
yeah.
but it looks like somebody is establishing a base camp off to the side of the road, halfway between the ski resort and the mountain pass.
Do I see trams that lead to Theodule Glacier?
There is a tram right where the road splits off and goes to the glacier. And there is a tram station that services that as well. So you could take the road up or you could take the tram, but nothing that goes up toward the mountain
The big
pass.
one. Okay. Uh, does that tram seem to lead from Zermatt, or is it something that we can get to from Slovenia?
No, it's the
Or
tram is right where you see the road fork.
okay, and that goes to Theodule Glacier, so it's
Correct, and
probably much.
only up to Theodule Glacier.
Okay, so in other words, if we're going to get to Gornegrat, we're going to have to rent an electric vehicle to do so, most
Yeah,
likely.
you quickly realize that you could possibly ski down, but you would only be skiing down toward Chalet Bowl, which is where the tram brings you back up for more skiing.
Yeah.
Everything off to the right is all out of bounds, and you see the black flags along different ridges.
Ooh.
Um, it looks like it could be extremely dangerous to try to go that direction, much less go without skis.
I'm gonna ask about avalanches. Has it been? It hasn't actually hit avalanche season, or has it? Has it been?
Who are you making this inquiry of?
I will. Well, the group. If the group isn't close to somebody who's a local or a native or something along those lines, I'll call it good. But when I do encounter somebody, I'll drop that hint and I'll remember to do so.
So right now you see waiters. You get an idea. If you went inside the chalet, you might be able to find people that are more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Um, is everybody else finding a table out on the terrace for
Yeah.
a exceptional lunch and plenty of high altitude drinking?
Otherwise,
Anybody?
yeah. Otherwise, Robin is just she's just so suspicious. So she's just seeing if anybody seems to be taking anything more than just a casual interest in them as a group.
You're not seeing anybody paying any particular attention. The only one who seems to draw attention is the enormous Viking in the big yellow parka. Um,
What? I'm
Like
fine.
that will attract attention.
and he has immediately ordered a bottle of Jaeger.
Ooh,
Oh,
he's going on the sweet side.
let me just say.
Inside the chalet, Banny, you do find a information desk. You see photographs of lines of climbers going up the Matterhorn. You see pictures of busty beer wenches at Oktoberfest. You see people hiking through meadows. You see pastoral farm scenes with beautiful sheep in the field, and a very attractive young woman um, dressed for Oktoberfest who gives you a lovely lean in as you come over to her. Um, Guten Morgen.
Good Morgan. How do I find my way over to Theodule Glacier? I can't get to it from here.
No, I'm afraid you can't. Are you skiing?
Well, that was one of the questions. Have the mountains been particularly active when it comes to avalanches?
Well, the summertime is the avalanche season, yes.
Hmm. Well, has it been
But there's only been 3 deaths so far this year.
that? It's great.
But we haven't reached August yet.
Oh, and that's when it gets especially so.
Unfortunately, yes.
Eh, well, to each their own. I was curious just because I saw the black flags on the edge over there, and
Oh,
I
yes,
wondered.
you must not go beyond the black flags.
Well, somebody had to put those black flags there. I commend those people.
That's our ski patrol. They're exceptional skiers.
Well, I am not, so I'm not going to test that. Um, so, what's the fare? My friends here want something to eat.
There are waiters and waitresses that can certainly help you. If you are trying to get to Theodule Glacier, your best bet would be to take the tram back into Zermatt and rent a vehicle. Um, you could take the secondary tram down to Chalet Bull, but finding a vehicle there might be difficult.
Understood. Uh, yeah, it seems like it's just another chalet. Hey, any particular or unusual locations that we should visit while we're here? Things that
Well,
stand out to you?
if you have the time, there is a wonderful little pub at one moment, please.
It's just a loading screen.
Yeah. Please wait. Oh,
Up at Gotthard Pass, there's a wonderful pub, a small hostel, and a mountaineers museum is up there. You also have the opportunity to cross over into Lupania if you wish. Um, and there's no passports required in either direction at that crossing. But if you're interested in the history of mountaineering, the museum is first class.
excellent. And so there isn't a direct tram to that. It would have to be vehicle or hiking. Is that
Yes,
correct?
there is no tram. The pass is only open these 3 months out of the year. And I would only travel there in June or July. August is the avalanches are much more severe. After that, the pass is closed until the following June.
Understood. Well, it seems like if we're here now, we might as well take the chance. Thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Enjoy your stay.
I am going to circle back to the group and say we're eating at the wrong place. Unfortunately, it would take us about 2 hours to get to the place that we should be eating. So let's eat. But we should go up to Gotthard Pass.
Beer?
Of course.
Shot?
What are you drinking, Bjorn? I've never seen you drink anything that was brown.
Yeah, well, when in Rome.
Well, brown, that kind of brown. Because that looks like a brown green, and it probably would make me green drinking it. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just for men.
You say that about a lot of things. I'll drink my
Yeah.
beer.
The beer is very good, and at this altitude, it's exceptional.
Um, the
Are you all
place.
going to allow yourselves to become polluted, or are you going to show restraint?
We have work to do.
It's one beer. It's one beer. I want to see. So the place that I saw at that distance from the camera, I want to make sure that I set up the camera and the tripod, and I take a few pictures of that area over there. The pass, the divide, the vehicle, and the little improvised camp that's being set up there. Because I think we're going there either tonight or tomorrow.
So what you see is it's the road that leads up to Gotthard Pass. The farm in question with the blue barn is just below the snow line. And it looks like they've got sheep in a meadow, probably some cows. You don't see any activity at the farm. And at the base camp is about a mile south of there, up into the mountains toward the pass. And it's been set up, it looks like in the snow, maybe 50 yards off the side of the road. And you can see tiny little tents being erected down there. Some kind of small electric bus pulled off to the side of the road, but it looks like that road is plowed, and as soon as you get off the side of the road, you're in the snow. You can't tell at this distance if there's people down there, but from the last time you looked, it looks like a couple new tents have gone up, so there must be people there.
So I'm going to return back to the group. I'm going to turn to Blanca and say, so your film crew, do you know where they went?
You know, I don't recall exactly where they were headed. So, do you think
That
are you taking pictures for your book, or is this mission focused?
That's mission focus. Come on, I'm not writing a book that I know of. Over
What have
there,
you got, Brian?
so there's a camp that's being set up over here, just south of the mountain pass that's over here. So Gotthard Pass, apparently we need to go there just so we can visit the museum.
Show me.
Amazing. Here, I'll set up the camera again. So I go over, and anybody who wants to join, feel free to join. I set up the camera, point it in the direction, look at that one, and I point it towards the camp that's being set up.
Is there any way at this distance to identify any clothing that might tell an individual's identification?
You're not even sure that you're able to see people at that range. It's a significant range. The only reason you're able to see the sheep down near that farm is because they stand out so much as the little white specks.
Do you think that's where we need to go, Manny?
I don't know. I can't say what that is, but it's a lot of production out there, and I would not be surprised if it's your people.
Well, the film crew had a lot of boxes at the hotel.
And they had the funds. I don't think that you would see this type of footprint from somebody like who we're thinking, potentially. But if you look just south of it, look at this.
Echelon wouldn't be that overt, especially.
We all understand each other.
Yeah.
But look at this, and I point this camera a little south, and I point out the blue barn over there. Now I'm thinking that where we're supposed to be looking, he said a blue barn. If there is a cluster of blue barns, he's not going to say a cluster of blue barns. He's going to say a blue barn. So therefore, I think we're looking at something solitary, not grouped. Does that make sense?
Bjorn is flirting with a beer lunch and has his arm around her hips. And he looks over at Cornell. You should get one of these.
Head in the mission. Head in the mission.
Which hand are you referring to, Bjorn?
If I have the opportunity, I'll get one for each.
No, I think I'll just stick to this mug of beer I've been nursing.
Yeah, he pats her on the fanny. Later. She wanders away.
How do you find the time, Bjorn?
You and Blanca are alone over at the railing by the camera unless Robin's come with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Robin's over there with you?
Oh, yeah, when he was, like, asking whoever wants to go, she went.
Yeah. A little further down, you got Theodol Glacier, but any of that is really inaccessible to us unless we get a vehicle. So if we wanted to look at Gornegrat, which is that little village right there, there's that and the rest. So however, if we're going to go, we should go that way. But I kind of want to look in the Rothorn direction, just in case.
To count it out because there's only one focal point over there.
This is the most interesting spot over here. So Theodol, mainly because of that pass and going through Lupania without the need of a passport, that is a hotbed for injections. So, I mean, if that
Well,
makes sense.
Then after lunch, let's go rule out your direction to the west, and then if time permits, we can make our way the other direction, or we can make a fresh start tomorrow.
So what do you mean to the west? Where do you think?
Toward
Rothorn?
Rothorn.
Rothorn. Okay.
So I think that it's fair to say that Danny's really onto something here because it was a blue barn. What kind of a blue is that, right? That's
He
by
wouldn't be
itself?
excited if he could see like 3 blue barns and said, "There's a
course.
blue barn among
Of course.
many." But it
Besides
could also
that-
be a distraction.
Besides that, Danny has touched death, so the Herald God has probably given him a vision. I think we should follow it. We shouldn't haste. We shouldn't waste time.
So you met Fate, right? You said that there were many knots in certain chords. How many knots were in mine?
5.
More now? Okay.
Now 6.
Just curious. Just curious.
Robin didn't really know that. She just totally faked it like 5.
At least 5. We couldn't tell all the way down the line.
When you were 6 years old, you almost died too, by the way.
It happens. It happens, especially when you're 6 years old and you eat a pile of dough and you can't actually swallow it. Anyway, let's just move on from that.
I mean, she leans into Blanca and says, "I really think that this is something we should really follow up on and not waste maybe time looking west towards Rothorn."
Renting a car is not hard. Bought a really damn expensive camera, and I'm sure a car costs like an eighth of that. What do you think, Blanca?
I don't mind crossing off avenues if they don't seem like a great lead. I am, like Robin, intrigued by the Blue Barn and the film crew that's set up over there. It just feels like the place to be. But it wouldn't hurt to close off that avenue and then make our way there. I mean, Bjorn's a great driver. We could certainly cover the territory.
Right about now, you hear a polka band starting up over at one side of the terrace. People immediately get up and start dancing, and your little group is approached by a fairly stout, shorter man, mostly bald. He's got the little ring of hair around the side. He is dressed in a 3/4 length mink jacket. And the pinky ring that he wears is definitely a real diamond and pretty good size. He comes up and it looks, he's flushed, he's been drinking, and he starts telling you what a beautiful camera you have.
Oh,
that is truly spectacular.
Alemani and make. It is a wonderful camera. I've had it for some time now.
It is beautiful. Does it take good pictures?
Oh, phenomenal. Do you want me to take a picture of you?
How will you get me the picture?
They actually developed down in Zermatt.
Oh, das ist gut.
If you set a time, I will get you a copy.
Yeah, and he goes and he poses by the rail.
I stand it up and I take a picture of him, and I then point at Robin and Blanca. Why don't you fill in the scenery?
Robin?
I'm looking at you for your lead. Okay, all right.
Oh, he's just grinning. He puts his arms around both of your waists. Make
Oh,
sure that he slides his palm across your fannies as he does so. Pulls you in close.
take a picture. And I'm actually kind of regretting what's happening right now, but I take a picture and I look and I'm like, oh, oh, beautiful, beautiful. Little smile. I point at Blanca. One more.
I know, because I mean,
You
Robin is
hear
like just
you
totally
hear a
unaffected.
woman shrieking, "Helmut! What are you doing?" And a woman about his age comes storming over. She is also wearing a full-length mink, and she starts to pry his hands off of the waists of the two young ladies.
I approach quickly. I approach quickly and say, ma'am, why don't you? This is your husband. Is
You
this your
walk
husband?
away from me for these strumpets.
I peel off whoever's on that side. I don't know if it's Robin or if it's Blanca, but I push them and I put the couple together and then I bring the two women in again, Blanca and
She
Robin
does
again.
not want anything to do with it. She turns on her heels, storms back the uh, into the terrace. He makes his apologies to the three of you and then hurries after her. But Gretchen, I've been drinking.
15 years is too long to be married anyway. Bye bye.
I look at Robin and Blanca and say, I'm actually sorry. I'm sorry. I did not mean to put you in that spot. I turn back to the camera and start breaking it down.
Benny, I've done much worse than that. This is fine.
It's not about you, Robin. It's about Blanca.
Then address just the girl.
Cornell.
We're sorry, Blanca. We are sorry, Blanca.
Cornell sitting at the table watching Bjorn flirt with every waitress that goes by and down several shots of Jaeger. You feel the temperature drop. You feel the wind picking up, and you also see what looks like clouds pouring over the tops of the peaks all around you, like waves at the ocean, and starting to flow down the mountainside. You see snow getting driven before it. It just came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it starts getting more and more gray. Temperature quickly drops at least to 20 degrees, and now all the pennants are snapping in the wind as this cloud bank just spills over the top of the Alps and starts to roll down into the valley. And it seems like within minutes, the chalet you're at is sunk in a cloud in a sea of clouds.
Wow.
Bjorn, you better finish up.
10-15 minutes to do this, and you see people starting to bundle up and hustle inside.
Bjorn, you better wrap up what you have there and find that big lemon of yours.
Finishes it, puts the glass back down, throws a kiss to the waitress. I am ready. Where are we going?
Let's go find the three wanderers.
He stands up, staggers a step, grabs the table to hold himself up. I'm fine. Everyone's fine. You're fine. I'm fine.
So,
everything's fine. Listen, why don't you walk right next to me?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
He puts his hand on your shoulder in a friendly tap, but you also feel his weight.
He's leaning.
He's leaning. A little lean.
He's leaning a little bit.
Wow, he actually found a poison that actually affects him.
Altitude
and the.
Do I spot these other three anywhere nearby?
I
see them
flagged
over at the rail.
Yeah, I flagged everybody.
Noticed the weather rolling in.
I lead Bjorn over their direction.
Oh, oof.
Are we staying up here? We should probably get indoors if we are.
Oh, what?
Where did that storm come from?
I look over to Bonnie.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I didn't. They said it was going to be clear. I didn't really pay attention, but maybe I should. When does
What's
it?
up?
I'm gonna do a survival check just to see like length and time and what to expect. And that's a 16 plus that's a total of
Big.
either nature I could do that with
No, do survival.
or survival, and that would be a 31 with survival.
Okay. What you're able to determine is that it's noon in the beginning of summer.
Yeah.
So this kind of weather really shouldn't have come out of anywhere. And it could, the problem is you're not really familiar with this part of the world.
Yeah.
And your guess is that it could blow over and burn off by 3 o'clock, or it could plunge the glacial area into perpetual fog that could last all night.
It's not worth waiting around. We know where we want to go, so let's go.
Let's get
Let's
off the
take
mountain then.
Yeah, let's take the tram back. It's probably better to weather anything from Zermatt anyway. And anything that slows us down slows everybody down.
Robin, roll a d6 for me.
Bjorn, what did you drink?
Jaeger.
Ah,
Twice,
I can
3
smell
times.
it. 3. Everything is 3.
The line to get to the tram is significant, and the attendants tell you that as they walk up the line, they're telling each group of 15 30 minutes at a time. By the time they get to you, they tell you it will be approximately a 3-hour wait for you to get on the tram and get back down the mountain to Zermatt.
I elbow Robin and say, ask if they have any electrical vehicles up here for rent.
Is there anything? Is there anything electric here to be rented? To go down?
Like a vehicle?
We. Yes.
There are no roads here.
Just with the tracks?
A tractor? We have the grading tractor, but that is not for guests.
What you're
That is
saying?
for the slopes.
Ah, okay. They have a tractor.
Well, if I do not want to stand here and wait. If you what about places to stay? I'm gonna lean in next to Robin. Are there places to stay?
We're in Sardinia. I mean, like what we've seen is like from the map. There's what, like a resort station
Well,
and
the people who were segmenting us off. I wanna point and ask them as they come by. Is there any place to stay? Any place we can book to stay?
You grab a tram attendant, and he tells you that the nearest rooms that you could rent would be down in Chalet Bull. There are no rooms to rent up here, and the last guests must be departing at 11:30, and the staff takes the final tram down at midnight.
So no one stays up here overnight.
No.
Watch the line. We're not the only ones kind of set back for our departure. Look to see who's kind of the anxious tourists and who's kind of okay with holding back and watching. Just try to get a gauge of who's on the mountain with us.
Do a perception.
who are just the heavy drinkers?
1829.
You see that the skiers seem to be the most relaxed about it. The people that are touristy backpackers, a little annoyed at the delay. Mr. and Mrs. Minkcoat are very unhappy about the delay. But you don't see anybody that's the skiers look like they're calm, but you don't see anyone who's a non-skier that's particularly relaxed about the whole situation. You do see that the attendants are handing out numbered chits to people in line so that they can disperse and don't have to wait in line, so they know when to come back for their tram.
Are there actual like crazy people going off on skis, just saying "F this" and just going down the mountain?
Yeah, you see some skiers that have decided that they will ski their way down to Chalet Bowl and arrange for passage back to Zermatt. From there, they look pretty relaxed about the whole thing. The only thing that's really keeping the skiers to the tram is it's incredibly dangerous to ski down this mountain with all that cloud rolling in.
Mist.
Right, you can't see shit. Yeah, I can relate.
But a few of them wander off. They're going to try their luck.
But there's no expectation that people are going to get stuck on the mountain. It's just who gets down first. It appears.
Yeah, the tram seems to be operating fine. Both trams, the one that goes down to Chalet Bowl and this one.
I want to watch the people who. Let's pick up our chits. I'm just going to say it to the group. Let's pick up our chits.
You're at the 3 p.m. tram.
3 p.m. tram. The mink coats, where are they at?
The mink coats are at the 2:30 tram.
Oh, okay. So they're not much different than us. Okay.
The line is almost completely dispersing except for those that are on the 12:30 tram. That group is waiting at the station. Everybody else has gone back, most of them inside the chalet to do their drinking indoors where it's warmer. It's getting pretty cold out here. The temperature shows that it's down to about 15 degrees.
Okay.
I'm just like, pulling the hood up. I'm like,
I lean over.
Up.
I lean over to Blanca and I say, it would be good to get on the 1 p.m. and we should spot the people who just picked up the 1 p.m. chits. Is there a significant difference between these chits? Because if anything, we're going to do a little gambling. Who gets down the mountain?
All the chits are white. They just have time stamped on them.
Okay.
And it looks like this is so well organized with these chits, with the numbers. This shit happens all the time.
Okay. Well, I would like to still keep an eye out for 4 people who leave from the 1 p.m. run, and we're going to target them.
Don't forget to count yourself.
Bjorn looks at Robin. Is he going to leave me on the mountain?
You actually counted 2 people.
Okay, sorry. With Bjorn, I was actually going to leave somebody else, but I'm not going to say who. Let's move on.
Sandy, are we really in a rush to get off this mountain? The one thing we get up here that we don't have down the mountain is security. I mean, everybody up here is in the same circumstance we are.
But we don't have anything.
You also said, well, no, we have everything. We have arms. We have an isolated group. I mean, we are secure. Blanca is right in this. But the other aspect of that is, though, is you said that you saw some people that were dressed very dour. We haven't really seen any of that up here.
No.
My only problem is, are we behind? Have we not discovered who we need to discover? Do we need to get there first?
Right.
And that's my biggest concern right now.
There is some urgency in that we need to get to the Blue Barn before.
But they've been here for a while, as Robin has pointed out.
Well, and it's a needle in the haystack at this point, right? They don't know which Blue Barn either.
I love setting fire to haystacks.
Look, there's the needle.
But yeah, well, look, among all this char, let's. You're right, and we should take the opportunity. I love the idea, but what is the approach? What are we doing? Are we vetting the people that we engage with? What are we?
It seems like an opportunity to at least filter the crowd and see if there's any risk up here. I was looking around earlier to see if anybody was kind of hanging back like we were. like not concerned, not trying to get to the front of the line, not pressing to get off this mountain.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because they have other agendas or because we're here and they're watching. So
everyone feels like a tourist here.
Agreed.
Well.
But I have mistaken tourists before who turned out to be assailants. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to hold back and let the mountain clear and be the last ones off.
Well, we could
like
reverse bargain.
Sorry.
Make a reverse bargain and
I don't think that's going to be hard. Here, take our place.
No. Basically, we say we will give this amount of money, or we will take this amount of money if you want to exchange with our chits.
I feel
While
like
you're talking about that, you see that Mr. and Mrs. Minkcoat appear to have done that very thing because they are right at the front of the line.
Mm-hmm.
And
a moment ago, they were at 230.
They bought their way up. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to? Who wants to saunter over there with me and have a conversation?
I'm in.
Robin, Danny,
Gary, let's go.
Have some fun.
Cornell, do you want to join? Oh, you just me and Robin. We can do that.
Well, you're a couple. They're a couple.
Put my arm through Banny's arm so he can be the gentleman leading me up.
Yeah. Whoa! What?
It's very scary here. I don't.
Who are you approaching? Are you approaching skiers, mountaineers?
We're approaching the mink coat people.
The mink coat people.
It's like, oh.
Oh, they just bought.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the thing. Is that maybe they can, Oh, well, we hope we can get down the mountain in order to give you these photos. But really,
Yeah, the photos with the strumpets. Why don't you run that line past Mrs. Minkcoat? Let's see how you do.
We do have one of just him. That is fine.
Right before the strumpet showed up.
We really did want to have her in the picture, but she didn't. Honestly.
So are you gonna walk up with one of the strumpets and talk to?
Actually, Robin, let's sit this one out.
Let's go the one behind them. The one behind them.
Well, I'm gonna say. So, how much did you offer to get to this point?
Who are you saying that to? The man or the
to
woman?
The man, Helmut.
Helmut looks at you and says, "I don't understand what you're talking about."
You.
And turns away as if you're not there.
I look at his wife. Shrug.
She gives you an icy glare and looks away.
Turn away and walk. You know what? We're fine. Let's just do what we do.
Who's the group behind them? Robin makes eye contact.
There are backpacker types waiting behind them.
Any men among them?
Oh yeah, probably about half.
Okay, so I mean, like any who would make eye contact.
It's groups of 15.
Yeah.
And you've got a group of 15 waiting to board the next tram, which arrives in about 15 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, they're just bored, standing around waiting, watching.
She's looking for
watches.
For men. She only needs 5.
Yeah,
half of them are men.
Right.
Robin, we don't have to do this. I think Blancs is right. We should probably just let this ride, watch what's going on, see how this is playing. Let's just call it cool. Let's play it cool.
We can see playing. It's cold, and I'm scared, dear.
We can go. They do this
cold out here.
all the time. Let's go inside. They do this all the time. See these
if we go inside, you're just going to drink more. If you drink more, then you're going to become irate.
No.
And that's not good.
Bjorn will do that. Bjorn will do what he does. We just let Bjorn do what he does. It's fine.
She yelled loudly to see if any of the men who are nearby look. If you just keep drinking, then you're going to go irate. And she starts going off in Clovian.
Woman, you suck!
Sir. Anyone who makes eye contact with her, who's closest.
You get eye contact from a couple of men. A couple of women, too.
I'm sorry. Oh, if they're attached, she ignores them. She's looking for unattached men.
You should totally just try.
Um, let's see.
If there aren't any, I can roll. Yeah, whatever.
You don't see any unattached folks in this group.
She aborts. Plan aborted.
Plan aborted.
She reattaches and said, "Please just
I
don't drink here.
I loop my arm in and I drag her along with me with all my 12 strength, and I say, let's just play this out. And honestly, I don't think you're going to get 5 tickets from these people. If you wanted to play the pity card, you play it as, I need these people to go down because, and I have thousands of lira in order to do that. You have thousands?
Sweetie,
Are you going back inside the chalet?
Young teenager. I know.
I'm taking her back to the chalet.
That's fine, but they're all attached.
Cornell, your companion Bjorn has seated himself on the fireplace.
On it?
And is organizing a group of backpacker types and leading them in a Gutnish drinking song, teaching them the words as they go along. And he's actually got quite a group gathered here that are kind of matching him in his inebriation and boredom. And the two of you walk in to the chalet, which is blessedly warm, and hear the Viking bellowing in song in Gutnish, and probably a dozen other people singing back at him, trying to not mangle the words that he's speaking. Cornell, are you going to join him in his drinking song or no?
I think I will. I mean, we have 3 hours to burn.
You have 3 hours to burn, and as the song goes along and people start laughing at themselves about the way they're mangling the words, the bar wenches are making the rounds, and with each round of beer that gets handed out, more people join the singing. That's what you two walk into.
We're on round 3 at this
Beautiful.
point. You guys were out there for a while.
Yeah. And we're cold. We're cold.
This mission is fucked for the day.
Everybody that's inside has shed all of their coats and parkas and scarves, and you're seeing some rather lovely folk in here with their tight sweaters and
hot
good skin.
I look at Robin and I say, Robin, we just need to relax. This is great. And I point at all of the hot men, mountaineers, fit, and say, the field is ripe for harvest. Do what you do.
Robin, you actually see one of those very men looking at you. He looks like a Third Reich recruiting poster.
Yes.
He's blonde. He's chiseled. He's got the blue eyes. He looks like he stepped right off the train from Berlin. Incredibly good looking and staring at you without shame.
Give him just a flash of look and then away, as if like I don't notice him, but I did, and just pat Banny on the arm. Harvesting, really harvesting. Then she breaks away from him and just walks towards the bar, as if they have had a breakup, and she simply stands there at the bar to wait.
The Aryan appears at your side a moment later. Buy you a drink, Fraulein?
Language? Alleman High?
Yeah, Allemanberg is what he's speaking.
Allemanberg. Oh,
yeah.
I speak it fluent. Okay. Oh. All right. Thanks.
He orders schnapps. Join me.
That would be good. Schnapps is good. Yeah.
Bartender pours the schnapps. I am Franz.
Of course you are.
And you are?
Marianne Durand. Good to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, Marianne. He takes your hand. He kisses it.
Let him. Smile pleasantly.
He looks like a Nazi Abercrombie model. He's, he's quite attractive,
with
and he's
all
got
the
just
abs.
probably like 2 days worth of blonde, scruffy growth on his face, looking fairly rugged. Um, Asks you, are you are you here by yourself?
At at the moment.
No.
And you?
I have a friend, but I told him to go find something to do because I wanted to meet you. You are the most beautiful woman I've seen in this chalet.
Take note. Take measure of him besides being a sexy Abercrombie and Fitch model. How has he measured me besides physically? Any note?
How do you mean?
So, is there any sense of maybe a recognition of a sort?
Do a perception.
Oh, but I failed my perception in finding my D20, John.
What does
Okay.
that mean?
Oh, sorry. I personally,
Oh,
um,
Robin's a little shaken up. She can't find her dice.
yeah.
I couldn't.
Hard to make
20.
decisions without a dice.
True.
That's right.
25.
How did you do?
25 on perception.
25. You don't recognize him. He and you've been around enough interested men that he's coming across as just another guy who's interested in you.
Okay.
But you usually don't have that kind of attraction, but you also don't usually run into this kind of gentleman.
And with the 25, does he seem to be lightly inebriated or just simply vacationing?
You're not detecting any kind of inebriation from him. You could there's been a little bit of liquor, and certainly he's got the schnapps now.
Right.
But he's drinking it like a gentleman. He's not slamming it the way your Viking companion does. And he
Hard
asks you,
times.
what brings you to the Rhone Valley? Are you here for the skiing?
No, I've never touched skis. And no, sightseeing is, well, it was beautiful here. What about you? Why are you here?
I ski.
Born here?
I beg your pardon?
Were you born here? You look like you just came out of one of these trees.
No, I'm from Cologne. My friend and I are both from Cologne. We like to come here. We go to St. Moritz. The weather is it's very unpredictable. I'm not ready to risk my life skiing down to Bull Chalet in this, but it will clear. And if it doesn't, I'll take the tram. It will be clear again tomorrow, or it won't. Either way, I'll certainly find something to do. What brings you to the Rhone Valley besides sightseeing?
And that is all. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous place to be.
It certainly is. I've been here many times. Perhaps I could be your guide. Do you have a place to stay?
My friends and I, we were just staying at some hotel in Zermatt. I don't remember the name. I think I'm maybe. She giggles out of character. Maybe a little bit too much.
We we have a family chalet that is in town, or just outside of town. You're more than welcome to join me. The accommodations are certainly better than any hotel in Zermatt.
Well, I appreciate it, Franz.
I will have our chef prepare an excellent dinner for us if you wish.
Chef. She gives a glance over her shoulder towards Banny.
I'm watching, and I'm edging closer to Blanca right now, and I'm going to say, ask Robin a question and put a message on her. I don't know what she's getting into, but she just gave me the eye.
I'll wander over towards the bar, press up against and try to order one of those brown drinks I saw that was flying into the Viking.
You remember it started with a J. The bartender figures it out for you and slides you a shot of Jaeger.
In making my way to the bar, kind of nudge Robin and put a message on her, pinch her on the ass, and whisper in her ear, "We're in communication. Don't waste it."
Shakes her head, smiles.
Franz, as she moves away, Franz kind of watches her go. A friend of yours?
A girlfriend.
Oh, well, then she is most welcome too.
You have no idea. She watches her go, lets her gaze linger intentionally, then looks back to Franz. Have you ever been?
The more the merrier.
Ah. Depends on how much your chef can cook.
My friend could join us, or it could just be the three of us.
So you are from Cologne?
Yes.
I didn't catch your family name.
Strager.
Society. Not a bad roll. She's not high in society, but we'll give her a shot. I mean, some stand out more than others. 28 for society.
28 was what you needed. Well, there are, obviously it's not a terribly uncommon name in Alemania, but you do know that there is a Count Strager who pretty much has the banking industry cornered in most of Alemani's major cities. This guy looks a little too young to be the Count.
Sure.
But the name is the same, and he certainly acts like he's from money.
Got the money, right. She undoes a couple of buttons on the front of her coat, and
you get to see perfect white teeth.
She leans in. You got to lean in. You got to lean in a little bit.
Got to lean in.
You're not a Fraulein with like all the amplitude.
That's right. The rest of you see Robin flirting with the underwear model over at the bar, while your Viking is really teaching a fair amount of Gutnish to his new drunken friends around the fireplace.
None of it's good language.
You've been around him long enough to know that he's, of course, teaching them the obscenities and putting it to song.
Wander over towards Cornell and deliver the brown liquid I have obtained.
You recognize the Jaeger.
Thank you. Go ahead and give it a nice little sniff and then hold it out to clink her glass.
What do they know what they're learning here?
I don't know what I'm learning here, so probably not.
That I will raise a glass to that.
You're almost certain, Blanca, that you've heard the crude form of vagina. And you see that the women singers are just as gusty and in singing it. And every time they sing the vagina word, you see your Viking friend grin from ear to ear.
Raise a glass to him from across the room.
He throws you a wink.
That is the best charm spell I've ever seen.
Banny, you happen to look over toward one of the doorways when it slams open, and you see 15 people being hustled inside by a tram attendant who turns and shuts both doors and starts looking for a lock.
He's on the inside.
Yeah, the tram, the clients, the passengers kind of disperse through the warm room. Some are making their way over toward the fireplace. You're hearing them in different languages saying things like, "What a bunch of rubbish! What a waste of time! Ridiculous!"
I'm gonna move up to the tram attendant. Did it
He
look like
finally
wind was coming
finds-
in?
It was cold and windy when they came inside, and very foggy out there. He shuts the door. He finally finds the thumb latch and locks the door.
I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder.
He jumps about a foot in the air and lets out a high-pitched, girlish squeal and turns around and clutches his chest and gives you as many apologies and looks both frightened and humiliated at the same time.
I'm not a Yeti. What is what is the concern?
Well, nothing's wrong, sir. Please return to your entertainment.
I grip his arm and I pull him over to a darker corner and I say, seriously, what is
Everything is just fine, sir. Nothing to worry about.
I pull out an official looking badge, my Nachtrichter badge, and I say, what is going on?
So he's just a common guy.
I know.
And a badge is a badge, so he doesn't know the difference.
Authority is all I'm looking for at this point.
And it works. He says, it was the howling.
Howling.
Well, yes,
Explain howling.
Really,
Believe
you
me.
should speak to the chalet manager if you wish, but we're under orders. If we hear the howling, we're to get the guests inside immediately.
Have your chalet manager come and talk to me. Okay?
Certainly, sir. He scurries off into the crowd.
I am going to look at the team.
Such as it is.
Such as it is.
If anybody is looking back at me, I'm going to wave them over like Cornell or Blanca. It looks like Robin's
Cornell and
occupied.
Blanca looks like they're doing shots.
Yep.
You see that Robin is flirting with some Nazi supermodel over at the bar.
And you would too.
Bjorn is leading a sing-along, and it's you.
I'm gonna go over and lean on the door and listen to that howling. Just I'm not actually put my ear to the door, just kind of lean my head against it and see if I can tell if it's a distinct howling or if it's like the howling of wind.
You just hear wind, and the wind actually makes the doors shudder a bit in their frame.
I see if I can spot the guy who was moving in to the chalet further.
Perception.
23.
You thought you saw him, but no, it turned out to be somebody else.
Okay.
There's a lot of people in here now.
Yeah.
The whole chalet is full.
I am going to start playing with the locks. I'm not going to actually open it, but I'm going to start playing with the locks to open it up.
So all you've got is just a thumb turn.
Okay. I am going to grab the thumb turn. I'm actually going to open it.
Okay. You unlock the door.
And I have my coat at hand. I'm going to put it on, zip it up. And I'm going to look around to see who's looking at me. And then I'm going to push open the door. I'm going to hold it, but I'm push it just a little bit. So
you're going to need to make a strength check.
It's Benny's point.
No, it's a strong point.
Strength check, 19.
19. The door gets away from you.
Okay, was it 20, 20 total because of I get a
Plus
+1. I
Was
did
it
roll a
20?
19. It is a
Then
20.
it almost gets away from you,
Woo!
but it opened wide. And now you can hear the wind whipping. It's freezing cold out there. Little spits of sleet coming at you. Um, you've got the door open, and you
Okay.
hear people behind you, close the door, close the door. It's cold out there.
one. How dark has it become? I mean, Robin glances too.
Yeah, you glance over. It's not quite charcoal out there. It's gray. It's very gray.
I look to see what staff react before I pull it shut.
You hear a couple people yelling for you to close the door. A
Like,
couple of them are waitresses, but you don't see any tram attendants, any managers, anybody like that. And you're going to need to make another strength roll as you stand there trying to hold the door.
I am not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Can I use my
You're gonna pull
athletics
this-
at all, or is it?
I know, right?
This is
I
pure
know.
strength.
Oh, I'll lose it. It's 18.
Door
18 total.
pulls out of your hand and bangs back against the side of the chalet. The other door, now standing there by itself, it gets sucked outward and bangs against the other side. A couple of people start moving in your direction. You can't open the door like that. It's bitter cold out there.
I was looking for the rest of my friends.
I'm sure the movement towards the doors caught Cornell's attention at this point.
Yep, you and Blanca.
Do I
Yeah.
spot that Bonnie is the cause of this problem?
Yeah, he's the only one standing by these two wide open doors. You see other people in knit hats with pom-poms at the top moving toward him, scolding him as they arrive.
I hand my my shot glass to Blanca. I'm gonna go give him a hand. Save that for me.
Sure.
It's still half full. I've been sipping it.
It's Jaeger, man.
Franz looks at you, Robin. Would you like a blanket? It's very chilly.
She moves in closer to him, but keeps her eyes on him. My cousin has a way with people and things. It seems.
That is your cousin?
Hmm?
Points at Banny over there.
She knows.
Um,
Oh,
may
options
I?
just
He
open.
starts to put his arm around you, but he waits for permission before he pulls you in.
She allows it.
He's doing it to keep you warm.
Of course he is.
And
What a
orders
gentleman.
another schnapps for each of you.
She keeps an eye on him at this point, and
Do a
depending on
perception.
what happens at the doors, depending on what happens at the doors, because I can tell he probably doesn't have control. It is Banny. 25.
You see that when he orders the schnapps, he does this. He points at you and then does that.
So, being a girl who grew up as a teenager on her own in Goth and made her living doing whatever was necessary and learned on the streets,
Yeah, how many abortions has she had? I'm just
you
kidding.
know, well, whatever was allowed in Goth, right? Yeah. But I would imagine that this means a special for me, like a double.
Make it what you will. Banny, you're being pushed past by a couple of hiker types, and then Cornell appears. Everyone is trying to pull the doors shut. Cornell and Banny, you need to both make a perception, please.
Yeah, I'm actually not there. I'm listening while this whole thing is going on right now.
Cornell gets a 25.
Banny gets a 16.
Banny, you just can't get past this thundering, goodnish sing-along going on over by the fireplace.
It is cat.
I rolled a straight 1, so yes,
Nice.
not even.
But Cornell, while you're fighting to bring the door back in, out somewhere in the storm, you hear a howl that it's inhuman and it's like nothing you've ever heard before. It rises and then cuts short. It's definitely not a noise that you've heard in nature before.
Not even in the Kurg Union?
Not even in the KU. You and the other backpackers managed to get the doors closed and the thumb latch turned again.
The second that gets close, I'm gonna ask Bonnie if he did you hear that noise out there? That
Yeah,
wasn't the wind.
What did you hear? What did you hear?
It was a howl, carried like over the valley maybe.
Fuck. So, one of the tram attendants that came through and locked this whole place up, he said, if he hears the howl, he shuts the doors and he brings everybody in. What do you think that means? Besides, so it didn't sound human. It just didn't sound like howling wind.
I don't think a person could carry their voice over the wind like that.
I know a lot of people. Let's just say that.
I wouldn't ask Bjorn if he could manage that level. Maybe with that horn he just bought, but without that horn, I don't think he could get the volume.
Is it worth investigating? Because it's penned everybody in and we're not getting out tonight if this is what's going on.
Do we have the gear to investigate it? Can we go out in the storm in the gear we have? With goggles and scarves and
did we
warm enough boots?
We may be able to buy crampons off of others here. Spiky shoes or whatever else. More than anything... Oh, I don't know how. Let's get everybody together. Let's break the good old Viking from his space, and let's just have a little bit of a chat. I think it's warranted considering this seems like we're in it for the long haul. It's not clearing up the next hour or two.
All right, I was already over there by Bjorn and Blanca. I'll let them know that we need to chat. Why don't you go see what's...
I'm gonna go and chase
down... why don't you
down...
see what's going on with that fine gentleman that Robin's talking to?
Ugh, no, I know his type already. I'm gonna go find the manager. There was the manager who was running the chalet. Apparently, the tram operators ran to talk to him, so I'm gonna go find him and I say, find a table. Maybe invite that fine gentleman. See what his salt is. See if he's, just core salt the earth kind of guy. Right? I'll be back.
Okay.
Cornell, are you going to collect Blanca and Bjorn?
Yeah, I'll walk over and get Blanca the spill. Take my shot glass back if she hasn't finished it. Thank you. Finish
you
it.
See a little bit of lipstick on the rim.
Did you drink the Jaeger as well, Blanca?
Just tasted it.
It's hideous.
Yeah, it is horrible shit.
Yeah.
Happily hand it back. You can see I probably tried to smear the lipstick off, but didn't do a great job.
I don't say anything, but I give you a kind of a side eye and then knock it back and set it down.
For you, it's like bathtub gin. For Cornell, it's mother's milk.
Drink that all day, every day.
Yeah.
I catch Bjorn's gaze. I'm sure he's observing the crowd here and there. And I kind of give him a motion to wrap it up on this verse.
He does a wrap up with the group. He stands up and tells them, "That's it for tonight." You get a lot of, "Oh no, encore! Come on, we were just having fun." But he smiles and makes his way out of the group. So the three of you have joined. Banny went off in search of the manager like a good Karen. And Robin, you're still talking to Adolf Eichmann over at the bar.
Drink malfunction is going to happen with some sleight of hand.
Oops.
Is it going to be a malfunction on him or on you?
It's going to be kind of on myself.
Oh,
as
oh,
taking a shot.
Any place interesting?
It would be interesting on the across the chest as she's getting ready to take the shot.
Oh dear, accidents happen.
Oops.
He offers you his sweater
Roll a deception
immediately. Yeah,
because
go ahead.
this is going to become a thievery attempt to be able to check his person of anything, because I've been checking him out. Like, what does he have in terms of? Oh, he would probably have his wallet here. She basically wants to lift his identification, if nothing else, as she is fumbling and being helped by him.
Go ahead. Make your roll.
rope.
Your determination on what bonus there is for the blouser and everything. In the back of her mind, she's thinking about dear old Wolfgang, who taught her everything she knows.
And did that help her dice roll at all?
Or did he? 25.
25.
Decent. I'm no rogue.
While you're futzing about, you feel a bulge under his left armpit. You feel a bulge in the right armpit. You don't know if it's something inside a jacket pocket.
Yeah, but if it's flat versus being like pistola type.
Yeah, one of them is flat on the left. The one on the right is a little bit bulky.
Yeah, go for the flat.
Are you trying to do a pickpocket?
Trying to do a pickpocket, right?
You have a thievery?
I do. So that would be, to be fair, a 25 against his
Perception.
his perception DC, right? Yeah. No, just his DC.
Oh,
So,
just his DC?
yeah, so 10 plus his. Sorry, I'm looking up pickpocket. Try to take a small object. Perception DC.
Okay. You're able to slip your hand inside the flat side. Do you want to lift what you find?
Depending on his reaction, is I'm all a gush, right? I'm like, I've just spilled on myself, and
He's very attentive to you, does not seem to notice that your hand is inside of his jacket. You feel something leather.
I lift it as I lean into his neck and take advantage of the opportunity to kind of give him a kiss. I'm so sorry.
You lift a men's wallet, and it's larger than a modern day checkbook, because that's what they carried, and
Billfold.
It feels fairly thick. Yeah, it's a billfold. You're able to lift it and slip it into a pocket of your own or up a sleeve.
Right. It's a very big, convenient coat.
You feel